What's the deal, y'all? It's Cam. Thank you for joining FreeRPeople till it's backwards, because people are free. I'm not here to force your mind, but I'm here to free it. I'm here to open your mind to rethinking what you were taught your entire life and what we commonly accept and don't truly think about. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about children and dophilia and basically protecting the children and what's going on today. Let's get straight into it. Okay, y'all, 2 things I wanted to talk about real quick that I completely forgot to mention in the video. So now I'm just re-recording this as a voiceover and I'm going to show you the pictures. So another celebrity in question is Chrissy Teigen. She had some tweets that exposed her basically admitting child abuse, saying she wanted to Anthony Weiner her kids. And soon after, there were even pictures exposed showing big black blood circles under her child's eyes. And there actually is a name for those type of eyes that Orlando Brown discusses in an interview that I'm going to post as well in this video. And he was saying they're called panda eyes. Panda eyes is a result of the other thing I wanted to talk to you about and mention, which is adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is basically a serum, or I want to say closest thing to is like a hormone, or their evil vitamin that they get from when a kid is frightened or terrorized at its utmost peak, to the point where they release literally a certain pheromone or whatever you want to call it into the air, and it's called adrenochrome. And that basically gives these celebrities that lifelong look. That's what makes these celebrities that are super old look super young, or have minimal scars or blemishes on their face. And all you have to do, like I said, is research it yourself. But of course, I'm going to leave the pictures and evidence to go with it. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me. And yeah, stay blessed.
Panda, like I was telling you, panda. So you got panda panda is a secret code for a certain thing. And so when it comes down to that certain thing, it's so. What it is you basically have a certain nerve in your rectum, and if you touch that nerve, you can turn a person into an animal. You can turn a person into whatever you want them to be if you just hold them down. So pretty much when you see black eyes like Blueface and shit like that, he got beat up, but he didn't get beat up where you thought he got beat up. He got beat up somewhere else.
So I'm going to use the term PDF-philia instead of straight edophilia, because I don't want to get flagged or anything like that. And just for, appropriate purposes. But, since around 2016, there has been a crazy amount in surging numbers from the abduction of children and women alike, as well as boys and little girls in particular. So as the years have come more out, there also has been a lot of talk and a lot of exposure in regards to people that are heavily into PDF-philia, but it's been around longer than we think. So one of the things I want to bring to our attention is now in the media, how it's gotten worse. So one of the things, in relation to this, you can think about the movie Traffic with Halle Berry, and how that movie transpired with her getting abducted. That is a real thing. I don't know if you guys remember, but like specifically around 2019, 2018, they were heavily talking about women being cautious of white vans following people around, people literally tweeting or posting on social media about their near abductions. And it was crazy, especially in like southern places like Georgia, Texas, where it was at higher rates, and it's still ongoing. So another thing I want to put out is how they've kind of normalized this, or normalized, making children look like adults. So one of that, if you can think or remember the Balenciaga scandal, how they had Balenciaga is an adult luxury clothing company. Why, as an adult luxury clothing company, do you have little children being advertised to sell your product? And not even just the children being advertised that's the problem, but it's the way in which they were advertised. These children don't look happy, they don't look joyful, and they don't even look like children. They're holding grotesque looking, demonic looking, to be quite frank, stuffed animals. They have a lot of dark non-childlike imagery. You know, when you think of children, you think of vibrant colors, you think of ponies and rainbows and action figures. This is none of that. And if you actually look closer into the Balenciaga scandal, they actually have, which will be a whole nother video, but just to tell you now, because it still pertains to this, within the room they had books in the corner, and those books were by an author who artwork is not good. It's basically PDF-philia in artwork form. It's children being brutally beaten. It's children being, whether it's physically or sexually, it's children looking sad, children depressed, children naked, children just exploited. And that's the person's artwork whose books are just lying there. There's also files, literally government files, just sitting there as well. In addition, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, because like I said, I've redid all these videos before. They're just better quality now. Nonetheless, that's really enough right there. They have that all within the room. The room is an adult room. It's not even a child room. So these are things to just think about. Also in entertainment, we have, and this is the main reason I stopped watching the show, Big Mouth. And I feel like that's a double entendre, because not only are they showing and telling, you know, what's going on in the world and what people are doing, but they're also, I feel like, exposing and showing, you know, what they want to be popular. So it goes hand in hand, a lot of duality going on with that show. Nonetheless, they had a Christmas special on Netflix, and it was starring Santa, and it was also starring Seth Rogen, whichever one. Yeah, Seth Rogen. But basically, within those two episodes that I'm about to talk about, in the Christmas one, they had Santa's elves, which are children, working in his factory. And so Santa says, you know, guys, keep the production line going. I'm going to go take a break and speak to Mrs. Claus. Now, in the show, Mrs. Claus is actually Santa Claus's mother. So let's just start there where things get weird. Soon after, the elves think that Santa Claus is taking too long, and they want to check in on him and see if anything's wrong. So two elves go to check on Santa, and they literally walk in on Santa having sex with his mother. So shocked and traumatized, the elves go back looking quite like that, stunned. So the other elves are like, you know, what happened? What's wrong? And considering that they're children, they're not really sure what happened. They decide to reenact it. So the kids start to realize, you know, like, this is a good feeling. And next thing you know, all of Santa's elves are just having one giant big orgy. This is what they're putting out in the media. This is what they're putting out in our entertainment for adults and kids to see in an animation. So it's actually showing, you know, the nudity. It's actually showing these children doing this, making noises, moaning, like disgusting things. So within our entertainment, and lastly, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was the Tom app, the Talking Tom app, and even that was convincing children to put themselves in compromising positions, you know, show themselves at certain times of the day, asking the kid what they're wearing, telling the kid to talk, say their name, say their personal information about where they live. And even nowadays in apps like TikTok, where, you know, we see all these dances that go viral, these small, you know, made up dances. But when you really think about it and you see children doing these dances and adults doing these dances, they're not really supposed to be intertwined. You know, a lot of the way that, you know, these adult like dances have our hips moving, our bodies moving, the songs that are actually, you know, that we have specific songs for these dances, like Her Way by Party Next Door. These are things that children really shouldn't be exposed to or really understand. And, you know, some may argue like they don't understand this, so this is why they can do it. But if you put that in the context of murder, a kid doesn't know what murder was, but they could still be capable if you teach them. So you see how it's like, it's teaching kids kind of to be promiscuous, or exposing kids to more adult type dances or ways of living prematurely, and it's just not okay, and it's not safe, more so than anything, for children, especially nowadays. Throughout time and history, this has actually been exposed on many occasions and in many different ways. We could start nowadays with how, you know, Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce have been exposed for this pedophilia, but we have to get into the stuff before that has long since been here, right before these people are getting exposed for it, because it's higher than them, it's bigger than them. These are the people I strongly believe they just want to throw out there to throw under the bus, so that we don't really start looking for and attacking the big ones, the ones who run these sex trafficking rings, the ones who literally gather and pay for all these people that go through the dark web to get these things. So the first I'll talk about is the documentary that I always leave in the description, where Mike Smith, there's a lady named Kelly Crokin, I'm pretty sure Elizabeth Crokin, they literally label her as crazy, but she did a whole research project and just news story on Pizzagate, and they literally tried to say it was debunked. They were trying to say it was a conspiracy theory, and then it ended up down the line, of course, years down the line, being confirmed as an actual thing, where there were pizza places, shops literally dedicated to, you know, sex rings and PDF file rings, where they would abduct children, where they would find children, where they would meet up and discuss how to get these children. And they had a bunch of code words as well to use, and they're still in use today. They have words like pizza, hamburger, hot dog, and they're all code names for different types of children. They got little boy, little girl. They even have symbols for it. For a really, really small infant like girl, they'd have like scribbly type triangles, because they, you know, you assume at that such a young age, you can't really draw. You have no real concept of shape. And then it gets more defined as they're talking about like a 5 or 6 year old girl. It gets real disgusting and weird, but you can easily find these things, research them for yourself. Next, we have Epstein's Island. We have in the elites, all these people that go, if you're making over 5 million, your favorite A-list celebrities, these people are going to these islands. These people are being invited to these islands. And if I could find the video again, they even have a celebrity at the Golden Globe Awards making that speech and saying, you know, we know Epstein is your friend, like I know. We have celebrities like Armie Hammer, who literally was accused and had messages of DMing girls that he wants to eat their body parts, he wants them to become his personal slave. He wants to feast on them. Literal cannibalism. And then Azealia Banks, same thing. It's all kind of in relation to children, because these are the type of rituals and things you have to do to them as well. Azealia Banks cooking her cat, literally digging up her dead cat and cooking it and then eating it. These are the things that these people do. These people are sick in the mind. These people are perverted. And so it leads to these things. We have Jeanette McCurdy, when she wrote her book and when she was exposing Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon. Dan Schneider himself is responsible for a lot of icky things, and the reason why a lot of these kids on Nickelodeon are messed up is because of PDF File, Kyle Massey, Orlando Brown, Britney Spears, all of these people who grew up in Nickelodeon, who grew up in Disney, who grew up around all of these adults in the Hollywood industry, have been in some way, you know, perverted or, you know, taken away from their innocence by force.
You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you?
A few celebrities have even died trying to expose this truth or these things that go on within the industry with children, such as Isaac Cappy when he was trying to expose Seth Green, and he even made tweets and hashtagged it, you know, pedogate, because he was exposing Seth Green and what he was doing, the disgusting things that he were doing, and he didn't want to be a part of it. So these are just things to think about. All this tech, all this early access to technology, and it rapidly growing, is all systematic. The physical activity they have you doing, the dances that they have been doing, is kind of systematic, and we have to take heed to it and think more critically, be more aware of the systematic programming and things going on today. So like always, y'all, if y'all like what y'all heard, make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe, comment things you don't know about, you want to see me talk about, you're scared to talk about, or just want to know about in general. And like always, y'all, stay blessed.